guys, welcome back to It's Now or Never. This is episode 3 of season 2. I'm your host, Alex Willard, and today I have a very special treat for you guys.
Oh
we have my mommy with me.
Yay!
Okay, so just introduce yourself to the guests. Tell them a little bit about yourself, what you think they should know. Okay. Okay, go.
Maybe the shout was a bad idea.
Do you want to put it up on the table? Now introduce yourself.
Okay.
Now that you've made your grand entrance.
I'm Mom. Oh, you want me to give my real name?
No, if you want to.
It's not necessary.
Introduce yourself. Who are you?
I'm
Where are you
Alex's
from?
mom. Oh, wow. Well, how long do we have? Where am I from?
We have as long as you want.
Let's see. Born in Nebraska. Raised part of my life there. Raised part of the rest of it in Alaska. And then moved to Hawaii. Met your father. And then moved to Nevada. Moved to Alaska. Moved to Vegas for your dad to go back to school. And then moved back to Alaska. And then we moved to Texas. And I'll never leave. This is home.
So how would you describe your personality type to somebody that's never met you before? Because I think it's very clear. It's very easy to figure out what kind of person you are when somebody meets you.
Oh, okay.
But
That's great. I'd love to know.
You have a very strong personality. But how would you describe your personality to somebody that's never met you before?
Huh. Okay.
It's a good thing.
Well, I would say that I am an extrovert, but at the same time, I'm an introvert. I'm a guarded extrovert. Does that make sense? Yeah, I'm a guarded extrovert.
Okay.
I have strong opinions.
Very strong.
Yes. I know what I believe, and I know what I like, and I know what I don't like.
Okay. So
I like to have fun. I like to have adventure with safety nets.
So moving into that, you like to have adventure with the safety nets, whatever.
Yeah.
What are some of your biggest fears?
Being eaten by a shark.
Okay.
Failing.
Okay.
I feel like I'm in a counseling session.
That's exactly what this is.
Oh, wow. Great. Now it's on video. Now they're going to commit me. Failure. Getting eaten by a shark or a bear. Depends who I'm with. Am I with your dad or am I with your aunt? With your aunt, I'll be eaten by a bear. With your father, I'll be eaten by a shark. Yes.
Okay. I know you love, from what I know, you love to travel, right?
Yes.
You like to see new places.
With safety nets.
But you hate flying.
Nope.
Okay. Do you like going on a boat? I know you love the lake. Do you like boats?
I love going on the lake, yes.
Okay.
So I've never been on a cruise. That's something I'm actually looking at doing this spring break with your dad and your brother. We'd love to invite you, but
I'm not invited.
Your dates don't coincide, so oops. But we're looking at going on a cruise. I have been on halibut charters and stuff in Alaska, and I get a little seasick.
Mm-hmm.
But didn't take anything prior to that, except the night before we drank too much. Maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. But I know my dad gets seasick, and so we'll see. But I don't get sick on lake boats.
So we have a question from the listeners that was submitted. This has to do with boat. If you had a boat, what would you name said boat?
The Betty.
The Betty? Why is that? Can you go a little bit more in depth?
I don't know.
Listeners?
Actually, no, I take that back. I wouldn't name it after my Bernedoodle. I think I would probably mash up two names together because your boat should be named after a female.
Okay.
And so I think that I would probably name it either like, I don't know. I would either name it after one of my grandmothers, either the Mary Lou or the Lois Fay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love it. So what traits do you see in me now growing up that you saw in yourself?
Stubborn, determined, funny, stubborn and strong-willed are pretty much the same thing. I think you're very loving. I'd like to think that I am at times. Did you just laugh about that? Okay, wow. Okay, maybe I'm not. Yeah.
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 What parts do you think that were different in?
I'm OCD about cleaning.
That is, we're very different.
Organizing. You don't give up. So although I was strong-willed, I allowed things at your age to deter me from completing a goal. Mm-hmm. I guess you have more self-confidence than what I had. Definitely.
Where do you think that I get that from?
I'd like to think that you get that from me instilling it in you. Mm-hmm. Always telling you that you could do anything that you set your mind to make sure that you were stronger than me.
I think we had a very difficult relationship when I was in middle school and high school. Mm-hmm. Going through all those phases of my life, I definitely was a little bit or a lot of it of a rebel, some may say. I loved to go against you. I think that, I felt like you were very hard on me at times. You had a lot of expectations of me, especially in school.
Yes.
I felt like you, all the time we were talking about my grades, and all the time we were just you were just trying to make sure that I was on the straight and narrow. But I really took that as you guys being harsh and helicopter parents and just very uptight on me. Mm-hmm. And I don't think at that time I understood or was very thankful for any of the parenting you guys were doing. And I kind of wish that you guys had just backed off. Uh-huh. But I think that, now that I'm older and I'm out of college or I'm out of high school and I don't have you guys to really be there and be on top of me, now I'm kind of grateful for having that when I was back in high school, because now I have the work ethic and the voice in my head. Yeah. From you guys. Yeah. Instilling that in me. But when do you think that kind of transition happened in our relationship? Because I think that back in high school, I absolutely hated you. I hated you and Dad. I didn't understand why you did what you did. Mm-hmm. I went through a phase where I was about to get emancipated and move out. I hated my family. I would do anything to not be in the house. I would do anything to go against them. Mm-hmm. And now my mom is my best friend, and I tell her almost everything about my life. And I don't know what I'd do without her. But where do you think that turning point really happened in our relationship?
So can I ask you a question really quick before I answer that?
I'll allow it.
Okay. Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Your honor.
No, you're the judge. That would be your honor.
Well, I'm saying,
yeah.
Okay. Just continue.
Got it. So, what do you think it would have been like if your dad and I, when you were so stubborn, hard-headed, strong-willed, and truly did not understand what the long-term repercussions would have been when you were, heading down this horrible path. What do you think everything would have turned out like if we had stepped back like you had wished at that time?
I think I'm not a parent yet. Hopefully I'm not anytime soon. But, I think that there's different parenting styles. And I've seen kids with parents that are very removed and they trust their kids. They let their kids do what they want, experiment, whatever, to a healthy extent. And I think depending on the child, that works. I have friends that their parents are not on top of them all the time, but they ended up being good kids. They're really good in school. They're in college now. They're doing fine. But then I've also seen parents who are all over their kids all the time. They go off to college and then they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I think in the point where everything was really heated up with us and everything was at its worst, if you guys would have stepped back, I think I would have gone through with moving out and I would have really gone off and done my own thing. And I don't think I would have come to the realizations that I did at the times that I did in my life. I think I would have gone down a
lot more trials and tribulations that went along with that.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know if I would be in college right now. I don't know what any of the relationships in my life would look like. So as hard as it was at the time, I think that, and it was probably really hard. And at the time it was a little damaging to our relationships when you guys had to really step in and, be hard on me, because then I felt like you guys didn't love me. But now I understand that it was hard for you guys to have to do that too.
Yes.
But where do you think that changed in our relationship?
I don't know everything that you want me to talk about or don't want me to talk about.
This is say whatever you want. Just no names. No names of people, and you can say whatever you want. Except for Carter here. We love Carter.
We love Carter.
Carter's your cameraman today. If nobody can
nicknames?
see him. But
do we have nicknames?
Do we have nicknames?
Family nicknames for certain people?
No, we're not going to use those nicknames.
Okay.
Nope.
So I will put it like, let's take that part out. Yeah, we're going to take that part out.
We
like
God, no. We're not going to put that in there either. Maybe we'll bleep that part out.
It's just long bleeps.
We're going to bleep that part out.
So when do I think that all changed?
We can talk about, if you're referring to certain people, such as my first boyfriend.
Yes.
If anyone, for context clues, a little background. My sophomore year of high school, when I was 15, dated a freshman in college for a year. By the time that we broke up, I was 16 and he was turning 21, which was a big age gap. And that is not at all my parents' fault, because I did hide that relationship for a while. But it also definitely, I think that was the beginning of driving the wedge between my parents and I. Somebody that really didn't have respect for the fact that I was in high school and I had parents that had rules and boundaries. And I think it caused me to grow up really fast. And he put ideas in my head that, I needed to separate from my parents, that they were being too much. And it made me hate my parents. I think it put this idea in my head. And I think that was the beginning of
a very
hard year.
Yes, it was the beginning of a very hard year. It also was a relationship that did a lot of damage to you and your brother's relationship. And that was hard to watch.
Yes.
Now, when I did say earlier that things about you and I at your age, of course, that are different is that you set goals, right? And you meet those goals or you exceed them. Now, I will say that is something about me that changed later on in life when I had children. You guys have always come first to me. And when it came to seeing you make really poor choices, I would not stop being your mom. They would not allow you to get yourself to a point of no return. So stubbornness, goals, meeting those goals, when you didn't have the maturity to understand the implications, I didn't stop for you. And I never would. That relationship was difficult. Yeah. So that was bad. That was bad. I felt differently about that than your father did at a different point in time.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think one thing
I have experiences that allowed me to see the writing on the wall.
Yes, yeah. And things that I don't think I learned about or understood until I got older. There were things that you waited to tell me until I was older. And then, when I learned certain things about you, I think that changed how I viewed you in a better way. I think I gained more respect for my mom.
That I was human.
Yeah. To know that you had made mistakes in your life. And I think, it made me view you more as a human. Yeah. And somebody that, you've gone through stuff and you understand, and you're only trying to help me out of experience and the fact that you don't want to see, you don't want to see the same things happen to me that happened to you.
Yeah.
But I think also you are I think this is where we are different. You're big on sacrifice. You will sacrifice a lot in your life for those around you and those that you care about to a fault. Where then sometimes you completely forget to take care of yourself or do things for yourself. And I think I had that phase for a little bit in my life where I would do things for other people, and I would be so worried about, I have an episode about people pleasing, but I would be so worried about making everybody around me happy and making everybody around me like me. I know you're not super worried about everybody liking you, but you want to make sure everybody's happy and taken care of.
That I love.
Yes, that you love.
Yes.
And I was more like that as a whole of like, I want everybody in society online and at my school and everyone to like me. I don't want anyone to think bad things about me, whatever.
Yeah.
To a fault. And then I think I changed that. I don't care anymore. Like I'm very independent now, and I will do what I need to do for myself, and I have my priorities straight. But how do you deal with that part of you that's, you want to do everything for everyone else, but then you have that thought in the back of your mind of, oh wait, like I need to take care of myself too. How do you deal with that if you figure that out yet?
Was I always like that? No, I can't say that as a teenager I was trying to please people, make sure everybody liked me. Either liked me or you didn't. And I think a lot of that for me is, it's innate. It's not like I purposely tell myself I'm going to just make sure that everybody in my family is happy and they have everything they need and everything they want. And I've taken care of them. And then once I'm done with that, then I will start to focus on myself. I don't think about it. It's not like it's just who I am. My family comes first. My family has always come first, whether that be, now, 30 years before, that's just who I am. Family means a lot to me. It's my foundation. It's my compass.
Yeah.
But do I feel like I am left out of not taking care of myself, as you put it? Sure. For some women, getting your nails done once a week, getting your eyelashes done constantly, getting your hair always done, making sure that you're, constantly up on the latest trends and whatever else. Good for you. Great. Kudos to you. But it's not me, and it's not who I am, and it's not what makes me happy. It's not my love language.
Yeah. I think you could care less about the hottest fashions or
Yeah, I don't care.
whatever. You're very all natural, and you like, I mean, in the best way possible. Like, you're always in, a sweatshirt and sweats or just hanging out. Like, you could care less about how other people think of you.
Correct.
If that makes sense. But at the same time,
but I want to feel
take
good
care of yourself.
I do take care of myself,
You
and
do
I
take
want to
care of
feel
yourself.
good for myself. Yes, and I do that, but I'm not
Mhm.
going to go out of my way to.
impress people.
Yeah, I don't care. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, and when it comes to social media, you're not.
No,
You're not all up on that for sure.
No, I'm sure not.
Yeah. she will send me Instagram reels over here and there. But besides that,
Besides that,
that's beyond the point.
of course.
How
I think that we do need to get back to the original question,
Yes.
which was, when do I feel like our relationship started to make that turn?
yes, because I cannot pinpoint it.
Yeah. So I believe that it was December, January of your senior year.
Mhm.
And I am not sure if it's because you realized that I was your safe space and I wasn't going to stop fighting for you no matter what. And I was always going to be there. I'm not sure. But slowly, that's where I think it began.
I think at that point I had realized that, and this sounds really sad, but I think I'd realized at that point that you were all that I had at that time. I don't think that there was anybody that I felt like I could lean on in my friend group. I feel like at that point everyone had kind of like exiled me out of the groups, my teammates, everyone like that. And people have come back and like realized and apologized and stuff. But I think at that point it was you. And that's when I had started doing online school, and I wasn't hanging out with anyone anymore. It was just practice, hang out at home, go to the gym, go to school
in one classroom with one teacher.
I would go to school in the same classroom for 2.5 months, and then I graduated and I was done. But it was my mom, and I think I'd realized at that point I'd realized that I'd gone through all of this stuff, and at the end of the day, you were still there, and you didn't ask questions, you didn't get nosy, you really respected the fact that like, hey, like, I don't want to talk about this stuff. Like, what I want to talk about, what I want to share, I'll tell you. But I think you really respected those boundaries of mine, and I felt comfortable and I felt safe. And just you were there when I needed you to be there. When I went into my FBI interview in February, I told you, hey, like,
I don't want you to go.
I don't want you to go. I want to do it by myself. And I think it was
hard.
It was for a few reasons, because I think I felt like I had to protect my family from things, and I didn't want you guys to see the full extent as to how I felt through the whole thing.
Yeah.
And how bad it was affecting me. But at the same time, I wanted to do it on my own.
Yeah.
This wasn't the first time that I had done an interview at the
Children's Advocacy
Center. It wasn't the first time I'd been there. But this was the first time that I was really talking about this. And I had gone to therapy beforehand. I kind of prepared myself, and I wanted to do it on my own. And I felt I wanted to feel strong enough that I could do it just myself. And I think there's sometimes that I do that, and it's taken to heart a little bit, I think the wrong way, by my family, of me saying, hey, like, I don't want you guys to be there for this, or I don't want to talk about it. And it almost makes you guys feel like I'm not including you. Or
I don't think that's it. I don't want you to be alone.
Yeah. You guys don't want me to be alone. But I also know at the same time, like, now I know that if I need somebody, I can call you guys.
Yes.
And you guys can be there at, the drop of a hat of something. But I think I've done a lot of things because this whole thing that's happened over the past few years, all of the things I've gone through in high school definitely made me realize that like I'm stronger than I think I am.
Yes, you are.
And I can take care of a lot of things on my own.
Yes, you can.
By myself. But I get scared to lean on other people because I've gone for so long without doing it that I get scared that when I go to lean on someone, they're not going to be there.
Yeah.
So that's why I've stopped. But it's really hard to retrain your mind when it comes to your family. But yeah, I think, and definitely like, because my senior year of high school in the spring, my senior year, I refused to talk about college. Didn't want to talk about where I was going to go. I didn't want to talk about applications.
No, we had to go to a counseling session.
Yeah, we had to talk to my counselor. We had to set a meeting. We had a date that we were going to then start officially talking about colleges. And it was in January, my senior year. So I took everything down to the wire.
I set up your first college tour.
Yep.
In January.
Yeah. So and it was really weird how things happened.
Mm-hmm.
I think I always say, I love Oklahoma State. I really do. But sometimes I hate it. But I do think that I picked the school for a reason. It felt like a sign. So my mom helped me on a lot of my college applications. But she also scheduled my college tours. I only went to 2. I applied to a lot more schools than that, but I only went
and you got accepted to a lot more.
Yes, but I only went to 2 schools because I think by the time I toured OSU, which was the first school I knew, but when it was a day in January, it was a Thursday, I think, and I was backing out of the driveway. I was in my mom's car about to go get my brother from school so that, we could
leave early.
Yeah, so we could leave early, get to Stillwater that night. And as I'm backing out of my driveway, and I don't know if I talk about this in part 3, but as I'm backing out of my driveway, there's a man standing in the driveway. Mm-hmm. And my mom and I both remember this in different ways. But the whole thing is like, I'm backing out of the driveway. There's this man standing in the driveway and he like kind of signals to me to get out of the car. And I'm like, who is this guy? So I get out and I'm like, hello, like, how can I help? Like, can I help you? And he's like, you must be Alex, right? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh, is your mom home? And this guy's wearing like a Carhartt jacket, jeans, boots. Like he looks like he's going to come work on the house, but I've never seen him before. And so I go inside to get my mom and I'm like, hey,
there's a man in the driveway in a jacket. That's
yeah.
Exactly what you said.
There's a man in the driveway in a jacket.
Really? That's amazing because it's January.
Yeah.
And he knows my name.
Yeah. And I was like, he knows who I am. He said he's like, you're work on, like, he said, no, he had asked where my mom was. He was like, oh, is your mom Brooke home? And I was like, let me go get her. So I go inside and I'm like, hey, like, I think this guy's like here to work on the house or something. My mom's like, no one's supposed to be here today. Like, because we're about to leave within like the next 2 hours or something. We go outside.
Do you want me to give? You want me?
Yeah, you can give your recollection of things.
Yeah, I'll give my recollection.
Because apparently I remember things
very
wrong.
Different. It's very
but
different.
it all happened the same way.
Almost. I mean, almost. Yeah.
Okay, you go.
So Alex comes in and she says, Mom, there's a man in the driveway in a jacket. And I thought, oh, okay, well, that's good because it's January. And he knows my name. And I was like, no. And he wants to know if you're home. Okay. Well, I said, I want you to go into the kitchen. I want you to stand on the farthest side of the island with your phone ready to call 911, closest to our bedroom. And you know that I have my gun. So I don't know what I'm allowed to say and not say. Sorry. Okay. And I have my gun in my nightstand drawer. Just, you need to be ready and just wait. And so I go out to the garage that was open and he was standing there and I asked him his name and he told me it was Special Agent so-and-so. And
with the FBI.
Well, and he flipped me his badge.
Oh.
And I said, yeah, I'm sorry, that's not going to be enough. I'm going to need to hold it. I'm going to need you to take it out. And he said, not a problem, ma'am. I understand. And so I said, yeah. So then I made sure that he took his badge out of his wallet and handed it to me and allowed me to, inspect it myself. I handed it back to him, welcomed him into our home. And it was just Alex and I that were at home.
Mm-hmm.
Your dad was coming home and you were supposed to be going and getting your brother.
Yeah. I can pick back up.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
So at this point, he comes in and I introduce Alex to him and let her know that, hey, this is Special Agent so-and-so with the FBI. And he looked at Alex and he said, first and foremost, the first thing I want to tell you is I am sorry and that you're a victim. And for me, that was a moment that I felt like so much weight
I think we kind of
got lifted.
Yeah, we were kind of looking at each other like,
somebody's listening.
is this like
God's
is this,
answering
is this really
prayers.
happening? Like,
Yeah.
This is finally
Yeah.
because there was just radio silence for so long. We feel like we didn't even know that the FBI
No.
had known about any of this.
No. Because originally I had worked with Alex with the Collin County Police Department with their crimes against children unit. And I would call them every day. And then finally it was like,
They just didn't have the technology to be
No.
able to deal with it.
no.
They didn't understand.
And then in December, I call them every day and they were like, can you just send us an email once a week? And so I would do that every Monday. I would send that email and I would still have nothing from them. And then in December, they contacted us and they're like, yeah, I just want to say we're so sorry, but everything, the IP address is leading back to somewhere in like Africa or
Australia,
So we're
New
just going to
York.
send this over to the UK and hopefully they find a case similar to this. And it just, December was like a drag. It was hard.
December was really hard, but he had come in
Yeah.
and he had to verify my identity.
Yeah.
He had a picture of me on his little piece of paper. And,
And had to verify your Snapchat account.
Yep. And he said, do you recognize any of these usernames? And I was like,
Yeah.
And then he had told us that they were working on it. He had been put into custody.
Since November.
Yeah, since November.
He's
The
been
end of
sitting
November.
in a federal prison. Yep.
And that there were over 300 victims involved.
At that point, there were 100.
No, at that point,
And they were waiting
That's
to...
what it was. They hadn't verified all of these victims.
Yes.
Or
And they were
contacted
trying to
them.
get into the mega accounts that he wasn't giving them access to.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then since then, we've learned that there's now
No.
8 guys in custody in this whole thing. But
Plus
so,
him.
Yeah. And so that day was, and then the next day we went to Oklahoma State.
We
And
went
then-
to Oklahoma State.
And then that's the day that I decided that I was going to graduate early.
Yes.
And so I think at that point, that's when I was like, all these things are happening at once. It feels like everything's finally working out. Like, maybe this is a sign. Maybe this is where I need to go.
Yeah.
So that was, and I think at that point, that was a huge step in everything.
I think that was where that relationship just really kind of...
Yeah. Because at that point, then I was like, I had gone through all of these things with you by my side. So it was very much like bonded with you through that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And admittedly, people who were, other adults, other parents who, became, I'm just going to be really honest here, became as horrible as their children. I, as an adult and as a parent, had to make decisions where it was like, not worth it. Friendship, not worth my time.
Yeah.
Not a friendship. Not somebody I can rely on, not somebody I can depend on.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
So
kids come first.
after all of that happening and us going through a lot of really hard times and things being really intense for a long time. I mean, there was a point I was going to therapy sometimes twice a day.
Yes.
It was hard. How were you able to drop me off at college and leave me and feel
I didn't.
okay? And then how do you still deal with me being away from home, knowing that there are things that I have to go through and you're not just a hallway away from me anymore?
So the first time taking you and dropping you off, not okay. I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready for that on many different levels. I mean,
I don't think any parent is.
no, I don't think that they are at all. But I had this hidden fear from you that, just the creepers, I didn't know if they had gotten anybody and everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And then who else is stalking you? And are they going to find you? And what's going to happen to you? And I won't be able to protect you, and I won't be there. And it's not that I wanted to have all that control, because I didn't. I want you to be independent.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, there's just that added level of stuff that was going on.
Yeah, just uncertainty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was, yeah. And then I'm like, I mean, how do you
But
do
now,
Yeah.
you got this.
You're good. I know
You got this, except for when I'm like, hey,
Where are you? What are you doing?
where are you? What are you doing? Why are you driving that fast?
Yeah. So you still track me, keep tabs on me on everything. Somebody has to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Someone has to keep tabs on me.
Mm-hmm.
How do you handle me being off and I'm going out at night?
Mhm.
I'm going out and having fun with my friends. How do you, okay, we
Live
have
it
to,
up.
for my 20th birthday, 21st birthday, 23rd birthday, whatever it was.
Which I do.
Yeah. What state are we from tonight?
Mhm.
But my mother actually came into town and came out with me to the bars for not one, but 2 nights in a row.
Yes.
We took on Stillwater. You, me.
I mean, not to the full fledged in which I am completely capable.
We didn't go full on. It was
We
a
didn't
little
even go a
kickback.
fourth.
It was a little kickback by
Yeah.
the fireside, chilling.
Yeah.
But it was you, Riley, and I. We were rolling deep.
Yeah.
How did you?
It's just the girls.
How did you feel? Like knowing that that's what my life is like every week. Sometimes.
Well,
Not anymore.
No, I mean,
But
right now, how did it make me feel?
how did it make you feel? Like being in the scene.
Old. Made me feel real old.
Yeah.
Made me feel real old. Yeah.
Did you enjoy it? Was it fun? Kind of taking you back? Were you like the partier back in your high school, college, this time of your life? Were you the
Alex, I had more college time when I was married than what I did when I was your age. Yes, I used to love to go clubbing. Definitely.
You did?
Oh, yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I did.
You did?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think
I was definitely a clubber.
I know you, like, my mom knows how to get down, but I don't think I've actually I don't think you've let it all loose in front of me.
No, 21st birthday for you in Vegas next December.
It's gonna be.
Yeah, we're gonna throw down. Definitely.
We're gonna throw down.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely.
I
We're
think-
gonna go clubbing.
I
We're gonna dance so much that pretty much by the time that we leave and we are done for the night, there won't be 1 ounce of makeup left on our faces. Our hair will have gone to complete curl because we will have sweated so much.
Mhm.
And we'll just drop in bed and that'll be it.
I think that's
It'll be
one
the
thing.
best night.
I think that's one thing that's very different with us is you love to dance.
Oh.
I don't have hips.
It's not about an 8 count.
or anything.
This isn't an 8 count that we're gonna do.
I can't get down on the dance
Yeah, you
floor.
can.
Like
You don't
like
know
my
that you
mama
can.
over here.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. It'll be fun. It'll be good times. Yeah.
But it's honestly, it's hard because I have to be at school
Mm-hmm.
with,
Without your
honestly,
mommy.
without my mommy.
Mhm.
And I feel like she's like my other half. And she's so far away from me. And it's
Mhm.
hard having like some of like your closest people to you. I think honestly the closest people in my life are the ones that are not
The
with
farthest
me. They're the furthest
in
away.
distance. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and so over time, how do you deal with that? You know, because you've lived in Alaska and now you're here in Texas, and your friends, your family, you guys have all spread out and split up. So how do you deal with some of your closest people being so far away?
It's difficult. I mean, as you know, I have 2 best girlfriends, and one of those is your aunt,
Mm-hmm.
and the other one is your pseudo aunt,
Mhm.
and one's in Alaska and one's here in outside of Houston, and it's difficult.
Yeah.
It's hard, but no matter what, whenever I pick up the phone to call or text, they're there, and if we get together, it's wonderful. In person, but it's hard. Yeah.
I think that's the hardest part when you go off to college, that you actually have to remember is there's still those relationships that you have to take care of.
I have to foster.
When you still have to foster those relationships when you leave for school, and you have to call people and text people and check in with people, because they're not all the time going to do that for you. And you
Correct.
need to be keeping up those friendships and those relationships
and the times
with people.
that you reach out might just be the time where they needed someone the most.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's something that I've struggled with, and I'm still struggling with, because, I left, and some of my high school friends we're all at different colleges. I didn't go to school with any friends of mine. So, I have to keep up those friendships. And luckily, I have those friends that you see every 6 months or something, and it's like nothing's changed. And then there's those people that are, up in Alaska, 4,000 miles away, that you don't know the next time you're going to see them.
Correct.
And so it's hard. And that's, something that I've had to learn to do and train myself to do, is to call people. And I think I call you almost every day now.
Mm-hmm.
I call you a lot of times walking back from class, or just, when I have 5 minutes here or there.
Yeah.
But I think that's really important. And I feel like you probably understand this as well, because especially in times when there wasn't social media or phones where you could just text people so easily.
In the old days.
Oh, no. But, you've moved a lot. I don't think that's something that a lot of people that are listening understand. You've moved a lot in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the time you moved a lot when you were little, but then when you moved out of the house, you moved a lot.
I moved a lot more once I moved out of the
Yeah,
house. Definitely.
Hawaii, Nevada, Texas, like that's a lot of moving. And so you still have to keep in contact with all that family and those friends and stuff.
And then try to reestablish yourself
Yeah.
where you're at.
How do you stay true to yourself when you go somewhere new and you don't have those people kind of keeping you authentic?
Well, lucky for me, the other best friend in there is your dad.
Mm-hmm.
So he's my ride or die. He's my partner in crime. And honestly, I after being married to him now for almost 25 years, I am comfortable with who I am. I know who I am. And I think that's that whole part of who am I? Answer that question.
Yeah.
What means the most to me? And then you follow that path, and you always follow that path. If you can stay on that path and follow your foundation, then it doesn't matter how many times you move, how far you move. I mean, those people are still going to be there. I mean, I have friends from middle school. I have friends from elementary school that we're still friends. We don't get together all the time, but we're still friends. You know, I know if we got together that we'd probably just pick up where we left off and the conversation would be easy.
Yeah.
Just because they are just as true of a person as what I am.
What kind of advice do you have for people when it comes to, because now I think a lot of us are in our lives where we're looking for, I mean, we're dating to marry. We're trying to find that person that we're going to spend the rest of our lives with. What kind of advice do you have when it comes to kind of making that selection on who you're going to spend your time with, or who you're going to actually pursue, on who you're going to go a second date on with, or whatever? What kind of advice do you have for differentiating what kind of people are right for you?
Well, honestly, for me, I could say that go with your gut. Sometimes I feel like today, so many girls are making a checklist, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, he has to be this tall. His hair has to be this color. He has to be athletic. He has to make this much money. He has to have, this kind of job, drive this kind of car. I mean, what are you looking for? Are you looking for an applicant, or are you looking for a partner?
Yeah.
I mean, what do you want? Do you want to be happy, or do you just want your boxes checked? Because that's a totally different thing. And so when you know.
Yeah.
And you will find someone you meet in your life that makes you be able to take a deep breath, that makes you be able to relax, that makes you smile and makes you laugh and can make you angry all at the same time.
But at the same time,
right?
like you're but at the same time, you're still true to who you are with this person. You're not
correct.
losing yourself in a relationship.
Don't change yourself for the next person, because how long do you think you're going to keep up that charade?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So be honest. It's really, like I always told you kids growing up, it's really hard to remember a lie. Right? It will change. Your lie will change.
Yeah.
But if you tell the truth, that one's not hard to remember. It's never hard to remember. So don't change yourself for somebody. Be true to you. Know who you are. And you know what? They will love you for who you are. And if they don't, move on.
Yeah.
Move on. Stop wasting your time. Don't let somebody treat you like crap. Don't be with somebody who doesn't build your confidence, but tears it down. Don't do that.
Yeah. And I think that applies to every aspect in life when it comes to...
And it's guys and girls.
When it comes to friendships and employer.
Oh, definitely.
All that kind of stuff. That's super important. Yeah.
And don't be afraid to drop friends when how I've always said it in any relationship is, whether it's your love of your life or it's a friendship. If somebody is not also filling your bucket, what are you doing? Yeah. You just constantly have to take from your bucket, and you have to fill their bucket constantly, right? So you're going to get to the point you got nothing. You have nothing to give anymore.
Yeah.
And those are wasted times. Wasted times, wasted people. And I've had plenty.
So one more question before we go.
Okay.
What's your biggest piece of advice? So most of the people listening to this, they're young adults trying to figure out what the heck they're doing with their life, where they're going, how they're supposed to navigate this phase. What is your advice to that group of people right now? And then what's your advice to the women in that group of people?
Well, I'm 46 going on 47 and I still don't have it figured out. So I just say, follow your heart. Do what feels right for you. If there's something you find that you're passionate about, follow that. Do that. One thing I will say is don't ever stop doing something that you love it may not become your career,
Mhm.
but it may be what balances you.
Yeah.
But I would say just follow your heart. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that goes in so many aspects. And don't be afraid to reach out to people and say, hey, you know, when you see me and you're around me, what things do you find that I'm really great at?
Yeah.
Because maybe you don't see what you're great at, you know,
And
and other people do.
yeah. And what about for the girls?
What about for the girls?
For the girls. What do you have to say to the girls out there?
Oh, stop being fake. Stop being fake. Stop being phony. Start being real. Be a friend. Stop worrying about how many friends you have and start being true. Start being real. It will be harder for you if you have always been faked to be authentic. Stand behind people and stand up for people.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a lot bigger person to do that than somebody who just goes with the crowd and steps on everybody. Yeah. Be somebody that somebody else actually wants your name to come across their lips. Be that person. Be that person.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast
Yes.
today. We will
Thanks
have
for
you
coming
on.
home.
Yes, we will have to have you on in a future episode very soon. But for now, I think that's all we have. But go follow It's Now or Never on Instagram. It's INON.pod. You can click the bell, get post notifications for us. And then if you're listening to this on Spotify, you can also follow us. And there's going to be a poll at the end of this video that you can answer that. Tell us, you know, how you feel about this video and what you want to hear next.
Yep.
And then if you go to our website, which is linked in our bio, it's also at the bottom of this video, you can submit a question for me to read next time. Tell me something that you need advice on, a topic you want to hear, and we'll definitely answer that. Just listen for it next time. And I think that's all. I'll see you guys in the next episode.
All right.
Yeah. Bye. Love you.
Bye.